Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Drama to Dharma. This week, we are going to be reading from the book of Gabriel, the book that I have been writing. My name is Josie Herndon. And just 2 minutes before our show started, I was getting confused about how I put everything up because Deb wasn't on. But I want to thank Debbie for coming on just in the nick of time to help me. So that's the drama part of our show. The title is Drama to Dharma. The drama is life as it happens, and the Dharma is God and our higher selves. So tonight it's perfect that everything was the way it happened right now because that's the way life is. And I'm going to be reading some excerpts from the book that I've been writing for the last 3 years with Archangel Gabriel. I would love questions so that we can answer the questions. And when I say we, it's always we versus me when I'm in alignment with my higher self, and that would be the angelic realm. So I encourage everybody right now that's on the show and that's watching maybe later on, if you can just kind of step into that place of alignment with your higher spiritual self. And we're going to invite Gabriel in to this show because I could feel my phone is calling, and it says spam. Oh my gosh, potential spam. Oh, so many distractions. So if you guys have your phones, turn them down. Gabriel's asking if we can just kind of take a minute to pause, allow the angels to enter the show. This is the first time actually that I'm doing it alone with the angels. Usually I do have a guest with me and we talk about life, everyday life, and our spiritual journey as we're living this life. And there's a lot going on right now. And I just want to help by answering any questions that you have. Gabriel's here to answer questions for you, from the Archangel realm, and I hope you do have some for him. And again, my name is Josie Herndon, and we started the show maybe 2 months ago, Drama to Dharma. And the purpose of the show truly is to get the messages out that I receive from Archangel Gabriel. So it is an honor for me tonight to be reading from his book that I've been writing. So the excerpts that I have that we've chosen tonight, are writings. This one in particular that I'm going to start with, we wrote probably maybe 2.5 years ago, but it always applies. So I'll be reading it for the first time as well in maybe a year or so. So let's see how this kind of goes with where we are today. He just had me choose a couple of chapters, and we're not reading the whole chapter. We're going to just be reading excerpts from a couple chapters, and then I hope that opens up a conversation. Okay, so this one is called Section 7, and the name of the book is Harmonics of the Heart, the book of Gabriel. Gabriel chose that because the harmonics is the energy from the heart, and everything that the angelic realm, the communication to the angelic realm truly is through the heart. So that's where we're going to be doing a lot of writing. And as you're listening to this, I hope you can step into your heart space and feel the messages come from there and the peace that comes from your heart space. And that's how you can tap into your higher self. Okay, so the name of the chapter is Well-Being. Aligning your physical body with your spiritual self. It's important right now, Gabriel says, that we speak a little bit about our health and our bodies. There's a lot going on the planet that is affecting our health and our bodies and the alignment. So it's well-being, aligning your physical body with your spiritual self, and how, again, when you're able to do that, you will heal your body and your spirit at the same time. So if you have any illnesses. So I'm just going to read from the book. As you contemplate your life and your physical body, we encourage you to assess it truly for balance. Your physical and mental self are one entity. Assess the flow of your body to the flow of your mind. Exercise and certain foods will help sustain longevity. Laughter and joy are the best tools to live a long and prosperous life. When you think of exercise, think of it as body movement and body fun. Write down the activities you enjoy doing, be it hiking, the gym, swimming, tennis, golf, or other sportsmanship games. You might say, Gabriel, I'm too old or sick for those things. We say, if you say it, it shall be so. Your mind is a very powerful obstacle or ally. It is truly up to you. Decide how you want your thoughts to flow in regard to health and well-being. If you eat fatty foods loaded with sugar to find joy and comfort, then allow the joy to continue without guilt. We encourage 75% of healthy organic foods and 25% non-organic, what you might call decadent foods. Either way, the mind is the powerful dictator of how the foods will metabolize in your body. Pre-pave your meals with positive thoughts towards the food. Appreciation and love towards the foods entering your beautiful body. Your body will tell you if it is joyfully metabolizing the food or resisting the food. Listen to your body. It is an energetic force of nature. Human bodies are the most complicated, precise, and perfectly designed entity of matter and gravity. Your thoughts come from your eternal spiritual self to the mind and through the body. So he wants me to stop right there and talk a little bit about that. Your thoughts come from your eternal spiritual self to the mind and through your body. And he's saying, and there's a filter. And the filter will sometimes change from what they're putting in as our thoughts from the non-physical realm and your higher self to your subconscious beliefs. So you might get these feelings of what your words could be in certain topics, and then doubt comes in or a filter comes in and will interpret it, he's saying, in a different way. So just know that when you're practicing these through your meditation or through, last week we talked about mastering your intuition. So as you're intuitively living your life, even if it's small portions of it as you're getting started, he says, just keep that in mind. So again, your thoughts come from your eternal spiritual self to the mind and through the body. When one is off balance, all will be affected. Thus come dis-ease and illness. He wants me to repeat that. When one is off balance, all will be affected. Thus come dis-ease and illness. The best practice of alignment is to breathe. It's always great to breathe, he says, without breath. He's joking with that. But definitely, it's we all have to breathe. But we take breath sometimes for granted in our physical bodies. So truly, it is breath. Sit in a comfortable meditation and allow your eternal self to align with your physical self. Be conscious of the process. So maybe right now we can take a couple breaths. He says to breathe. I wrote here, breathe and allow. Breathe and allow. A breath and allow. Be, he says. That's what we have here. Be. Now. Now. When you feel the connection, you will feel relief and peace, knowing you are on the right track. See yourself as perfect in your mind's eye. Perfect body, perfect mind with clarity. Perfect, perfect. That is the meditation. You might say, Gabriel, it is impossible to be perfect. We say, says you, not your higher self. Try it in a private moment. Do not share this time with others, as they will reinforce your old belief that you are not perfect. Lovingly practice this alone with your higher self. Only you can align with your spiritual self. Each human is their own. Try to live in your own skin versus the skin of others, as it is impossible. Be the example of well-being. Every human is, every human is a well-being. Every human is a well-being, he's saying. We are beings, we are well. You only have to remember who you truly are. When you remember who you truly are, only then can you find true alignment and balance. You might say, Gabriel, this sounds like a boring and unrealistic life. And we say, again, all of this information is up to you. All humans are born with free will to choose chaos and pain, free will to move towards who you truly are, a higher, eternal, and spiritual being. Some of you are ready to be in alignment, and others are contemplating this idea for the first time. Either way, it's also possible. Be true to yourself. Expand who you are, or not. This section of the book will address the body in general. Keep in mind, they are all connected, as you are all connected to us. And then the chapter goes on. It's like an introduction to the chapter. And again, I haven't read that in a while, and I wrote it with Gabriel. Actually, I allow myself to let the angels speak through me and to write through me. So I'm remembering now when I wrote this chapter, and I wrote it in several hours one day. It just flowed through me. And so Gabriel's telling me right now, reminding me of those beautiful days so that I can continue writing, and it's effortless. So let me see if we have questions here before we go on to the next section. Okay, I have one here. From Jules, what are Gabriel's thoughts on the best ways to take care of ourselves and our family's well-being during this pandemic to reduce anxiety, fear, and panic and maintain our spiritual connection? Very good question. Thank you, Jules. Okay, if you can bring the question back up, I might take a peek at it while I'm answering, Deb. Thank you. Okay, so first off, Gabriel is saying he loves you, Jules. Thank you for this question, because what he's saying is that this chapter or segment of the chapter that I just read is perfectly written for the time that we're in, for this time. So I wrote it 2 years ago for the moment that we're in, and this is the perfect question. First off, he says, when you're asking questions of the angels and of God, it's best to, although we're going to address them, but the quickest way to get rid of them is to take them away from your vocabulary, remove them from your vocabulary. So remove the question anxiety, fear, panic, and keep the questions my family's well-being. spiritual connection, my family's well-being, spiritual connection. And then the rest of it will fall, he's saying, because just bringing those words in to our vocabulary will induce those words rather than reduce anxiety. By saying it'll induce anxiety, fear, and panic. Just saying them brings that energy. So, Jules, and to all who have the same type of question for right now, it would definitely serve to just focus on what it is that you want and focus in on some of these things. And if you're interested in this segment of that I just read to you from the book, you can email me at Josie at josieherndon.com, and I'll send this to you, because it really is it's a beautiful segment of a chapter for these times. So again, Jules, share your love with your family. That's that heart space. And try to change the subject as much as possible when it comes up, even in your own mind. Switch to well-being, switch to perfection, switch to exercise, and you, of all people, you love exercise, you love eating healthy. So go and organize your organic closet. So that's what Gabriel's saying. Just, go in there and go into your pantry and organize it. And for those of you who don't have the vitamins and all this stuff, then, kind of go through your pantries and see if you can add. Every time you go to the grocery store, he's saying, add something organic, add something that might, be a little bit more healthy than the other thing. You can look in your basket, he says, and then just maybe take a couple things out and replace them with 2 other things each time. And then your pantry will start changing. He's saying it's not good during these times of what the words that she said, anxiety and fear, to take bold, go clean out and throw away your food and fill it up. This is not the time to do that. That's too extreme, he says. And it's not prudent. Right now, everybody should be prudent. So finish what you have if you can, but just start adding new things to your cabinet. And that's where your intuition can come in. Your intuition can come in at the grocery store. I do that, where it's like I don't see the carb aisle. If I'm really walking to the grocery store and ask for intuition and to follow the lead of the angels, then somehow I literally cannot find the carb aisle, even if I try. And when I say carb aisle, I mean where the cookies and chips and all that. I'm like, well, where is that? I used to know where it was. So it's almost like, and then I'm sitting in front of the fruits and vegetables, and we're like, oh, okay. So you can play those fun, things when you're intuitively grocery shopping and see what happens to those chips. You won't be able to find them. And that's just a simple way of doing it, but it's a fun way of doing it if that's what you so choose. And like he said, if you do eat the chips and cookies that are in your cabinet, enjoy them while you're eating them. That's the thing. Just bless them, release them from your body, enjoy them. And then decide later if you want to buy more or not. Okay, so we have another question here from Kim. Hi, Kim. I've started praying for archangels to allow me to connect with them. What's the best way to connect? Thank you so much for that question. Gabriel says the best way is just to ask. That's how it happened for me. Because you've already been asking and trying, you're there. You wouldn't, so take the word try, although I do have a little show called Try Angels to try. But Gabriel's saying you're already asking. You're already asking. So just be and allow the angels in your meditation. They will come to you in your meditation with messages. You can also do something that they call that they've taught me in the beginning to help. It's like a tool to where if you ask a question, you can kind of feel your body moving forward or backwards. It's like the energy will pull you forward or backwards. The forward is kind of a yes and the back is kind of a no. So you can start that out with even the food. You have a choice between a cookie and an apple. So should I eat this apple? Then you're going to feel the angelic realm. Oh yes, eat that apple. Should I eat these cookies? Honestly, no. I mean, literally, I could feel them pulling me back. So you're going to be able to do that and test it simply because you're already connected to the angelic realm. because you've been asking for that, he says. And he's with you all the time. They are there. All you have to do is ask them anything, and they're ready to help you. They're ready to give you the answers. My fun thing to do is to ask them to do 75% of the work for me today and allow it. And I'll do 25%. And then you're going to watch how they literally will open up things, and then you won't have to worry about it. It's incredible when you can do that. And I do that. That people ask me, how are you able to do all of these things? And I say, God helps me, because he does. And the angels, I give it to them. And the easiest way, they say, for me to do that is to just give a percentage. Everything's math. 20, you can start out with 50% if you feel better. But really 75 is good, because then things are just going to flow for you all day. And I don't do it every day, of course, because I'm human, and that's fine. But when I do, those are usually my perfect days. Thank you, Kim, for that question. Wonderful. You're welcome. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions right now, I will read a little bit more from this chapter. And then we'll go on to talking a little bit other things from the book. Okay. To injure oneself is to be unaligned with your body, mind, and spirit. When you are mindful and silent, you are aware of all your surroundings. Injuries occur generally when humans are not conscious of their environment. We ask that you live as mindfully and aware as possible. You will find less injuries are likely when you live this way. There are times that you are reminded of this fact. We, the angels, protect you when asked. We are your guardians when allowed. The gift of life, as you know it, is truly your destiny while on this earth. We ask you to look within your being and find the true answer. You ask, Gabriel, what is the question? The question is, who am I, and what is my true divine purpose? When you go fast in life, you then miss the answer. If injury occurs in this process, know that you must stop, look, and listen. He said, you learned this a long time ago. Medical manifestations are there to show you and give you the opportunity to stop, look, and listen. These words are simplified so that you as a human may understand the flow of energy converted into your body, mind, and spirit. The healing process from an injury will occur according to your awareness and mindfulness. True respect of all that exists, is for your understanding of the question you alone can ask yourself and listen to find the reason you are here. As a human being, you should only focus on your own personal existence. This is what we would call a spiritual conundrum. We are all one, yet we must be our own spiritual being. Both are true, meaning you must have a strong spiritual light, enlightenment, awareness, in order to be part of a collective conscious. He wants me to read that again. We are all one, yet we are all one. Okay, sorry. We are all one, yet what we must be our own spiritual being. Both are true, meaning you must have a strong spiritual light, enlightenment, awareness in order to be part of the collective conscious. I love that. That's beautiful. I wrote it. I didn't write it. The angels wrote it through me. But wow. Okay, so there is, it basically, that whole little segment was talking about when we're in alignment and we can actually slow ourselves down. And I know this is true for me. When I go fast, I do have injuries. Even if I trip or do something quick and then I hurt myself, whatever it is, it's because I'm not and I catch myself doing that, and I slow down. As soon as my body starts hurting, I slow down, because then I know I'm not in alignment and I'm not going slow and listening. And then when we are strong in our alignment, then we can be part of the collective consciousness. And that's how the conundrum is pulled together, how we're our own, but yet we're in the collective conscious. Okay. And he says, to be a part of the enlightened collective conscious, you have the power to fulfill your purpose as a human being. Your physical body is your vessel in the physical world to help those in all the realms, physical and non-physical. Heaven and earth combined are all that is good, to honor the most high and holy creator of all. And then it just keeps going. Beautiful. Does anybody have any questions about well-being and the body before we go on to the next section? I don't know if anybody does. Then if not, then we are going to move on to something else here. So that was beautiful. I hope that answered some questions for alignment during these times of the fear of the pandemic. And again, he says, try not to put that out there too much, although it is there, so we have to be careful. Again, conundrums. From Jules, I have had several close friends pass away over the past few months. Does Gabriel have any messages from any of those people that have passed away for me? That's a great question. Thank you, he says. That's bold. He loves that. So many humans have transitioned over the last several months, more than usual, he says. But there are many humans on the planet. And he says that as humans, we're at a crossroads, all of these things that are happening. And we're always at a crossroads, when it's our time to transition. But as a collective, we are at a crossroads as we're evolving, he says. It's a little complicated, but that's so some of the humans that are transitioning now, it's basically, he says, when it is our time to transition, how that works, we're going to transition. Could be they were tired, could be they knew it was their time. He says everybody knows actually before they come why they came. And their life made the biggest difference. And that's what you have to remember is their legacy. Every human being has a legacy, whether they're here for 5 minutes or 50 years or 75 years. They have a DNA on the planet. So that's just a little background about that because of all the transitions. He says there's no deaths, there's just transition. But to us, there is because we grieve. We grieve. And so, of course, he says to you as humans, there's going to be grief because you want them there with you. You're used to them being there with you. The messages that they give, of course, is that they are good. They are in all the light. They are healthy. They are not ill anymore. They're not suffering. And now they can, from that side, they're one with us in the light. They're back home and they can guide you as we all can here in the non-physical realm. We are here to guide you, to love you. There'll be times when maybe you'll have a dream and they'll be in that dream. They came to see you in the dream. You feel it so closely, don't you? When you open up and you wake up and you're like, wow, they were in that dream. Yeah, they were in that dream. They were, believe it. But know that once a human being transitions, they come to the light and they're all one with us. They do. I hope that helped you, Jules, because it has been a difficult time of grief and loss. And this is from Carly. I have a difficult time with focus on my own spiritual self. I am very focused on the needs and well-being of others. How do I focus on my own earthly needs without losing sight of what? And then I didn't get the last word, I missed it. Can you put that back up, Deb, please? I think, okay. Let me see if I can see it. But basically, Carly is asking, how how can she focus on her own spiritual? So this is for Gabriel. He says, "Hi, Carly. We love you so much. You have the biggest heart of gold." Like that song, Looking for a Heart of Gold. That would be Carly. She just has it, meaning that she will do anything to help anybody. And once you know Carly, she will. And it's wonderful to have that person in your life. But now she's asking for help. She's asking for help. She doesn't know it, but she's asking for help. And Carly, that's where it starts, with asking for help from others. So if there's something that you need for your spiritual growth, do it. Gabriel's saying, it's okay. You've just asked. When you help others, you are helping all. Accept yourself now. So now is the time, especially right now. The universe has everything set perfectly that you are at stay home with your husband. Your kids are at stay home with theirs, right? The children are at home with their families, with the grandchildren. Everybody's not able to come over all weekend anymore. So when they call you or your sisters or your siblings, since you can't be, especially now that things are tightening up again, Gabriel says, take advantage of that time that you have alone at the house to take care of yourself without guilt. Take the bubble bath. Take the walk. Cook your favorite foods. Meditate. Pray. Whatever it is that brings you joy. Try it at least 2 hours a day. To turn, because when you have been able to do that, he says, you're strengthening yourself, because if you are depleted, you truly are not helping others. And that's hard to hear when you love to help others, is that you're not helping others, right? So Gabriel's saying, think about that, Carly, that until you can love yourself and do the fun things that you want to do, even if it's at home. Watching the Hallmark Channel. That's goofy. Josie knows it, but she loves it. But whatever channel you like, if that's what you want to do, watch a movie, listen to your favorite music, dance by yourself in the kitchen, have fun. You have a beautiful home and you can garden, whatever it is, 2 hours a day for Carly. So we're going to call that 2 hours a day for us. And for those of you who have experienced the same thing, which Josie knows what that's like as well, take 2 hours for yourself. So this goes for Josie as well, and for anybody who's, giving and giving and giving. Take 2 hours for yourself, and those 2 hours will turn into 4 and then 6, and then you'll turn off your phone, and then all of a sudden you're going to be in alignment with yourself. And then you're going to realize that you could say, God, you take this. I give these kids to you. Whatever it is that they're asking, let us do it, Carly. Let the angels do it, he's saying. Trust. They will all feel it energetically. They will feel your love, and then they are going to see you growing by loving yourself, and then they will start doing that themselves for themselves. So you're going to be teaching your kids and your family how to do this by doing it first. So that's a beautiful answer from Gabriel. I hope that helped Carly with that piece, because when you are loving yourself, then you are truly in alignment with your spirit. And that's when you can read your Bible, you can pray, all the things that you want to do. When you're loving yourself, you are truly in alignment with God. That's what Gabriel's saying to that. I hope that was helpful. That was definitely helpful for me as well, because as he said, Carly and I are a lot alike sometimes when it comes to that. Okay, so another chapter that I have that Gabriel had me bring up is called Touched by an Angel. And the reason he wants me to bring this up, and this would be section number 9, is because what he has asked are for people, so you know that part of the book is interactive. So it's not just me writing his words. He also has asked for stories. So, and when he says touched by an angel, that could be touched by a human angel in your life. So I've gathered stories from friends who have actually shared with me times in their life where they feel that they had a spiritual experience, or they were touched by God, they were touched by an angel. So that this way the book, is truly open so that people could relate to that. So we have beautiful stories in this chapter, and that were, given to us. And I won't read the stories, but he just wanted me to talk about that a little bit, so that that when the book comes out, that there are going to be stories, that positive stories from people that that donated their stories, or donated. They gave the stories to the book and gave permission. Um, so if I don't have a question right now, he says that we could read one of the little ones. And if it's okay with Carly, I have hers here, so I could read hers. But she did give it to the book, so I don't know if she even remembers what she put up, but this might be good. So let's see here. Oh, I know it'll be good. I'm going to read Carly's. In my life, I have never really tried to differentiate, and again, this was 2 years ago, to differentiate between when I received divine intervention from God, or if that help came through assistance from one of his angels. I know that angels work for God, so I guess in my mind, I always felt who it was our Lord who helps me in the difficult valleys of my life. Throughout life, I've had many trials and losses, including the loss of my beautiful 26-year-old daughter 6 years ago. That was probably 8 years ago now. Although it was very painful, I knew that God's hand was in the midst of all of it, and that he had answered my prayers the only way he could. This was the only way for him to heal her from her addiction, and to not allow her to harm another family by drinking and driving. I have been blessed to always find comfort in the presence of the Lord. As a divine intervention from angels, that old saying, never drive faster than your guardian angels can fly, totally applies to me. There have been so many times while I've been driving, times maybe when I was just walking and not paying attention, and that let's see, when I felt protected, too many times to recall, but throughout my entire life. So for Carly, her angel, she said, for the most difficult trials, I've always felt a strong presence beside me, surrounding me. I guess those are times that maybe God sent an angel. So she felt the presence of God and the angel when her daughter passed. And I know that that is probably true for other people as well, because you're really close to God at that moment, Gabriel says. So those are different stories. Thank you, Carly, for sharing that. And that's a beautiful, beautiful share, and a beautiful angelic story, a true angelic story, because she felt the presence of God during that time, which is a difficult time to feel that. So let's see. The other chapters that he wanted me to mention, but it's funny because I had to figure out how to put all these chapters up here and split the screen. And my husband, Jim, helped me with that. It wasn't easy, but we did it. But I can only put 2 chapters up here, the rest of them. But Gabriel says that's fine. So I was actually reading from right here. But now what he's asking me to do is share with you different parts of the book, such as the questions and answers. And that's why he loves these times right now during the show, when we can have questions and answers, true right now questions and answers that people have. And we have a section in the book with those, with questions that people might have that they've shared, and then answers from Gabriel. So that's kind of fun, because these are everyday questions and answers that apply to most people, and it just kind of gives a nice, gives the angelic answer. So if anybody's interested in questions, if they're questions as I'm still writing the book, we can certainly add them too, because this book is live and so is the show. We're still, that's what Gabriel says, the book is always live. And the words that he says, they're repetitive because we need to hear them. And they're simple because that's how we understand them as humans. So it's not to put, anything else down, or that's been written philosophically, he says, but just from a visceral level, that if we hear the same things over and over, because you might say, well, I've heard that before. And he says, yes, you have, and you need to hear it again. So when you hear these spiritual words, that means, of course, that it's time for you to hear them again. So throughout the book, it's kind of put, some of the same things are in there, but maybe written differently because he says it's all very much the same. But the book is put in a way where we can understand it in now time, in today's time, where we are in the year 2020 and 2021. And younger readers who read it will resonate with it. Those who don't know the old books, who haven't read the older books that are there, they're going to align with a lot of the things that are written in this book. And again, he says it's all very simple because it just is. He says, truly, we should just, the main thing is to know that we only have right now. That is truly what we have. And when you can come from the place of right now and slowing down, then you can receive the messages from the divinity, from the angelic realm, and then share those with others and embrace them yourself. That's what he says, if you can embrace those messages. And you might say, how do I know if it's the message? You'll know. You'll know, he says, because it is, you might get it in different ways, like hearing us right now speaking. You might write something down that you're not clear about, but that looks familiar. You'll hear it from other humans because when you ask for the answers, you'll get them. And so sometimes you'll say, wow, that person came into my life for a brief moment. And what a godsend. Truly, they were. They were a godsend for that moment. And, sometimes you can thank them for that. Say, wow, God really used you today to help me in this situation. And most humans will say, wow, that's great. That feels good. It's nice to know that I'm being a vessel for God or for the angels or for the higher source, for the light. And so that's where the connection comes in and the answers come when you ask them, he says. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, this is from Renee. Hi, Renee. Renee Popovitz. How do we protect ourselves so we keep the energy flow going through us without others sharing their energy with you that could affect your body? Okay, I'm going to take a quick little drink of water. Deb, can you put the question up again? How do we protect ourselves so we keep the energy flow? So the first question is protect ourselves so we keep the energy flow going through us without others sharing their energy with you that affect your body. So Gabriel says, just ask again. Ask for that protection. Humans cannot interfere with other humans unless they've been invited, basically. So when you're keeping your beautiful energy flowing, and then there's another human in your realm, again, in your physical realm, so they are in the room with you, they're sitting next to you, and you feel that they are, it sounds like you feel like they're sharing their energy that's going to affect your body in a negative way. It's not allowed. It's not possible if you first put up that shield and say to yourself when you're starting your day out, Lord, protect me. Or if you're sitting there with them and you feel some energy that you feel is not conducive, put up a shield. Just basically turn it off with them. You can switch. Don't give them any energy. If you don't give them and pay attention to them, they cannot pay attention to you, because then they'll notice that you're not paying attention to them and you're not giving them any energy, if you will, then they can't, because energy is an equal exchange. It's an exchange. Now, they can't force any energy. Humans can't force. Nobody can force anything into you that you don't allow to come in. And you say, well, I don't want that to come in. Okay, then don't give it any thought. Just release the thought. And this could be an argument with somebody that you love, and you're exchanging these words and they're draining you and you're draining them, and you know that you don't want, you want them in your life, but just right now it's draining. So that could affect your physical body. Bless and release them. To yourself, you don't have to do like a whole ceremony that'll put them off, but to yourself to say, I bless and release you, and change the subject and leave the room. And then you can come back or not. But you must remove yourself from that situation if it's not serving you. Remove yourself from any situation that is not serving you, because your body is already protected. All you have to do is allow us to be there for you and know that you are protected. Nobody can go and hurt you, because there's peace and love in your heart that is stronger than any ill will that another human might have for you. Because when a human says words, they're more powerful they're like a sword. That's what we've talked about. The words are powerful like a sword. So tune it out. Once you know you're going down that path with that person, remove yourself from it and bless and release them. Because if you give them the same advantage or the same disadvantage with other words, and you're sharing words back and forth, it's not going to be good. And sometimes you might want to do that for a little while, because it could be your old dance. It could be what you like, whatever. But once you've had enough of it and you've realized it's affecting you physically, because that was your question, then remove yourself. Because every human and every relationship is different. You might see a couple that look like they're arguing, but really that's how they live their life, and that's how they live their life, and they're okay with it. So energetically they might be arguing, but really energetically they're telling each other they love each other. Or you could be in a room with somebody where you're not sharing very many words at all, but you're giving, looks or other things that you feel powerfully are affecting you. Remove yourself from that. Bless and release them. Send them love. Don't send them more of what they're giving you, because everything comes back. Gabriel says we're mirrors to each other. When we see something in somebody else, really we're doing it to ourselves. And I never like it when he says that, but it's true. He says we are mirrors to each other. So give them love, release them, and, they're on their way. Then they're not going to play anymore. They're going to be like, wow, that's boring. Because sometimes people just like to argue or whatever. But really, they have no power. God has all the power. Your angels have all the power. But I know Gabriel says that it's difficult during these times, to not get reared, not to get all worked up. I get worked up when I watch the news sometimes, or, it's different situations. Of course, we're humans. But once you catch yourself going there and that it's hurting your physical body, bless and release and move on to something that's more pleasant for you. And it's that simple, he says. And he loves you so much. And keep the energy flowing through your body the way you know how. Through yoga, tai chi, breathing, exercise. When you feel your body being tightened up, loosen it up with exercise. Even if it's a little bit of exercise, just movement of your body. Movement, move, Say, okay, I can do 100 steps if I walk around this house a little bit. And then you can go from there. I hope that helped, Renee, with that question. And thank you for asking that question, because I'm sure there are others that have the same questions. All right. Wow. That's great. We're down to 10 minutes. Okay. Ray, maybe the key words are flow through you rather than absorb it. Okay, good. So Dr. Ray is sharing, maybe the key words are to flow. Can you put that back up? Flow through you rather than absorb it. True. So don't even use the word absorb. Don't even think about the word absorb like you're absorbing. If you're absorbing, just let it flow. All right? Just flow through. It's perfect. Allow it to flow. There is no absorbing. There's only flowing through when you're in alignment. Thank you, Dr. Ray, for that comment. And He's a psychologist, so he works, with that a lot too. Um, this is awesome, Diana says. Thank you, Diana. I really appreciate that. This time has gone by so beautifully. I miss my love. Diana misses her love. We'll send you love, Diana. We're sending you love, Diana, because you miss your love. The angels right now are filling your heart with love. From all that you think you're missing, if you can open up your heart, they're showering it right now with love for you and for all those who are listening and watching. If you want to participate in this beautiful harmonics of the heart energy, allow the angels right at this moment and God to fill your heart with love so that you're not missing it. It's found. It's there with you. They're there with you. And they're showering you with love. They're showering you with love from the top of your head down to your toes. All of that beautiful energy for you and for those who want to embrace the love. You could feel it. And thank you for that comment, because that opened it up for that segment of showering yourself with love and shower others with love. When you shower others with love, even if you don't love them or you do love them, shower them with love. And again, the mirror, all that love will come back to you. So the more you shower others with love, without saying it, no words, just thinking it, shower them with love. That way you don't have to explain. You're just energetically showering them with love. That love comes back to you. So that's a good exercise, Gabriel says, to practice with the harmonics of the heart and that powerful energy that is universal. Wow, this has been nice. And I thank you all for joining me tonight and for joining Gabriel. He loves you dearly. He wants to end with a prayer right now. A prayer, he says, Heavenly Father, I hope you join me, all of you, if you feel comfortable with this. A prayer of light for the planet. First off, he says, to bring peace and oneness to each other, because that's who we are. We're all one in a collective conscious. We're humans. And we resonate with that language more than any other language. And shower each other with love, he says in this prayer. He wants to shower you with love so that you can pass that love along. It's so important right now to do that for healing of humans. And we thank God. We thank God for everything. Even though he says sometimes it's hard, we just have to be grateful because we have so much. We have breath, we have life. And from there, we can create all the wonders and beauty that are in store for us. If we just look at it from that viewpoint, he says, Heavenly Father, for those who are listening to this prayer, let it be that they feel the love and the light and the physical healing and alignment, all that we spoke of, that it is true for every human that hears this and beyond energetically, and that they will share this with each other. Amen. So those are the messages tonight from Gabriel. He sends his love and thank you for being interested in his book. And it helps me because I'm writing it, and it encourages me to even read the words again. So touching to be connected with this book, that sometimes I get frustrated because I feel it, I don't have the time to write it. But really, like he says, it's all easy and there's no time. Everything's perfect. We can start sharing it on the show, he says, however we get the message out. So thank you for being part of the audience tonight and participating in this sacred time with the divinity of the angels. And I just bless you all and send my love to you. We will have another show next week at 7 o'clock, same time, same place, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, Drama to Dharma. Thank you so much. And with that, I believe we are complete.